If you only have $100 to $150 to spend on a phone, you need something that covers all its bases. Fortunately, Samsung's cheapest member of its A series line of phones can do just that. I got to spend time with the Galaxy A01, and it's a no-muss, no-fuss handset that covers all its basics without costing too much. So, let's dive in. The Galaxy A01 has a 5.7-inch display with a 720p resolution. That's not so bad, but keep in mind many YouTube videos can be viewed in a sharper 1080p resolution. Overall, videos look fine, but the LCD screen isn't as vibrant and rich as, say, the Galaxy A51's OLED display. The phone is thin and small enough to navigate comfortably with one hand. While its bottom bezel is a bit thick, the teardrop notch up top keeps the phone looking modern. There's also a headphone jack, which is great for wired headphone users. The Galaxy A01 has a 13-megapixel standard lens and a 2-megapixel depth sensing camera. In ample lighting, the phone captures clear, colorful photos, and red and green hues especially pop in some pictures. There are a few images I took where the sky was overexposed, but later on in the evening I was able to take a good shot of the blue sky with the foreground and subject matter evenly exposed as well. The camera has an 8x digital zoom that's decent at getting more details from faraway objects, but image quality does get muddier and washed out the closer you zoom. Live focus for portrait photos was also really inconsistent. Though some pictures turned out okay, several others had the foreground or main object blurred out instead of the background. As for video, the camera can record 1080p video but doesn't have optical image stabilization, so footage won't be super smooth if you're moving around. Speaking of pictures, you'll likely need Google Photos cloud service to store your photos and videos, or invest in a micro SD card. The phone only has 16 gigs of internal storage and 2 gigs of RAM, and nearly half of that is taken up by the OS and apps. My review unit came from Verizon, and it had so many preloaded apps that when I just turned it on, it only had about 5 gigs available. I had to delete a bunch to get more storage. The phone does have expandable memory up to 512 gigs, so I recommend that route for onboard storage. Equipped with a Snapdragon 439 processor, the A01 operates quickly enough for the most part, and quitting apps and launching the camera felt timely. But every so often I noticed that the A01 took a beat or two for some other things, like opening Geekbench 4. It isn't slow enough for me to pull my hair out, but if you want a lightning speed user experience, this phone isn't for you. Powered by a 3 ampere-hour battery, the phone can last a workday with mild usage. During our test for continuous video playback on airplane mode, the phone lasted 11 hours and 47 minutes. That's a good enough time, but most phones that we've tested in the last couple of years lasted longer, starting at about 13 hours and higher. Keep in mind, we're also conducting streaming video tests, and I'll update the written review when I get those numbers. All in all, the Galaxy A01's bare-bones hardware and features, like its plain design and low-resolution display, aren't much to get excited about. But the handset covers the basics well enough that, for its low price, it's a satisfactory device to snap photos, check email, watch videos, and of course, make calls. Because of its better camera setup and updated OS, I preferred over 2019's Motorola Moto E6 and 2018's Moto G6, which also cost $100 to $150. But the A01 does have a relatively unimpressive battery life. If you want something with more juice and you could spend $100 more, consider the Moto G Power instead. In addition to a triple rear camera setup and a sharper display, the Moto G Power lasted more than 24 hours during our same battery test. If you want more tech news, check out the rest of CNET's channel. That's all from me. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.